A lot of companies think they need more AI. Most of the time, they actually need better decisions. That's the gap. If your team can generate 10 campaign ideas in a minute, that's nice. But it doesn't help if the customer still gets the wrong offer, the wrong message, or the wrong follow-up. In Asia, this gets expensive fast. One market is calling on WhatsApp, another is on app push, another still depends on branch staff, and the customer feels the mess. So the first question is not, what can AI write? It's, what should the business do next for this person right now? That shift sounds small, but it changes the whole operating model. And once you see it, the rest becomes much clearer. For years, teams worked from segments: young professionals, high spenders, churn risk, premium users. That helped at one point. But segments are too slow when the customer's context changes every minute. A person can be a premium user on Monday, a support risk on Tuesday, and a cross-sell opportunity on Wednesday. If your logic only knows the segment, it misses the moment. That's why real-time context matters more than static labels. Good customer decisioning asks, what just happened? What is most relevant now? And what should we avoid? That is much closer to how a good relationship manager thinks. The difference is scale. You can't ask every branch manager to improvise this manually. You need a system that carries the logic everywhere, and that's where the architecture starts to matter. Here's the cleaner model. Stop asking what campaign each channel wants to send. Start asking what action the customer should receive across the whole journey. That could be an offer, a service recovery step, a reminder, or a human callback. The key is consistency. If marketing says one thing, service says another, and sales says a third, the customer loses trust quickly. In ASEAN markets, that inconsistency shows up even faster because teams often operate by country, by product, or by channel. The result is a patchwork experience. A real-time decision engine fixes that by making one core decision and letting every channel follow it. It doesn't remove local nuance. It coordinates it. That is a huge difference. And once the logic is shared, the customer feels one company, not 5 disconnected teams. This is where a lot of teams confuse the tools. Gen AI is great for design time. It helps you draft, explore, brainstorm, and shape possibilities quickly. Statistical AI is better for runtime, where the business needs controlled, explainable, repeatable decisions. I like the sculptor and watchmaker comparison. The sculptor creates form, the watchmaker makes sure the mechanism keeps perfect time. If you mix those jobs badly, you get beautiful ideas that are hard to trust or safe systems that never improve. But when you separate the roles properly, the business gets speed and control. That's exactly what enterprise leaders want. They do not want a flashy demo that cannot survive compliance review. They want a system that can work in the real world, under real risk, with real accountability. That is the mature AI conversation. A customer does not wake up thinking, I hope the bank's app, call center, and branch team all disagree today. Yet that's what happens when every channel runs its own logic. The service team handles urgency, the app pushes a promotion, and the branch rep sees none of the recent history. That's not personalization. That's fragmentation with better branding. A real-time decision layer gives each channel the same core view of the customer and the same priority rules. The experience can still look different by channel, but the decision behind it stays coherent. That matters because trust is built through continuity. In regulated or high-consideration markets, one bad handoff can undo months of effort. So the win is not just conversion. It's fewer contradictions, fewer repeat questions, and less customer fatigue. That is where the business value compounds. If you lead across ASEAN, the temptation is to design one perfect regional system before doing anything. But the fact is that usually slows everything down. A better path is simpler. Pick one market, one journey, one KPI. For example, retention in telco, service recovery in banking, or renewal in insurance. Then make the rules explicit, test them, and prove the value. Once the team sees real lift, expansion becomes much easier. This matters because ASEAN is not one uniform market. Language, consent, digital maturity, and operating structure all vary. A solution that works in Singapore may need a different rollout path in Indonesia or the Philippines. So the goal is not regional perfection on day one. The goal is a repeatable pattern that can travel. That is how you move from a pilot to a platform without burning time and credibility. Not every customer journey deserves a real-time decision engine. Start where the economics are obvious. If a decision happens often, affects revenue, and carries real risk, that's where the system pays back. Think retention offers in telecom, claims recovery in insurance, overdue payment handling in financial services, or high-intent conversion in e-commerce. These are moments where speed and relevance matter more than broad marketing. The team doesn't need more noise. It needs a better next move. In these journeys, one wrong action can trigger churn, delay, or a complaint. One good action can save the account or accelerate the sale. That's why decisioning is not just a customer experience idea, it is an operating lever. When you choose the right journey, you can prove value quickly and avoid turning AI into a vague transformation project. The fastest teams do not treat governance like a brake, they treat it like a steering system. That means policies, approval points, audit trails, and risk-based rollout are built into the workflow from the start. Then people can move faster because they know what is allowed, what needs review, and what must never happen. In practice, that is a big deal. Leaders in Asia often face extra complexity around consent, data residency, and internal accountability across countries. If governance is vague, teams slow down or take shortcuts. If governance is designed well, the business gains confidence, and confidence speeds adoption. I've seen good programs stall not because the idea was weak, but because nobody defined who could approve what, under which conditions, and with what escalation path. The controls do not kill momentum, they make momentum durable. One of the most damaging beliefs in AI projects is that you must wait until the data is perfect. In real companies, perfect data rarely arrives on schedule, but you probably already have enough to start. Transaction history, service records, response behavior, product ownership, complaint signals, and channel activity are often sufficient for a focused first use case. The mistake is trying to solve the whole enterprise before proving one decision flow. Start with what is reliable, map the gaps, and improve as you go. That is a far better use of management time than spending 6 months debating a target architecture nobody can launch. In Asia, this is especially important for mid-market and enterprise firms that already have years of customer history but no unified decision layer. Data readiness is not an all-or-nothing event, it is a path. And the first step is usually closer than people think. A lot of pilots fail for a simple reason. They try to prove everything at once. They want the model, the data, the integration, the governance, the UX, and the ROI all finished in one go. That is too much. Better teams narrow the scope. They choose one customer moment, one decision rule set, and one owner. Then they measure one outcome that matters, like retention lift, faster resolution, or better conversion. When that works, the organization gains trust in the pattern, not just the pilot. That is the real prize. You are not trying to create a demo, you are trying to create a repeatable business habit. If the first use case is too broad, the team gets stuck in meetings. If it is narrow and valuable, people start asking for the next one. That is usually when adoption begins to spread on its own. Here is the part many leaders underestimate. The value is not only in a better offer, it is in the fact that the same decision engine can feed many channels without creating chaos. Email, app, contact center, branch, field sales, and even partner channels can all pull from the same logic. That reduces duplicated effort and improves consistency. It also helps the business learn faster because every response is part of one system, not 6 disconnected experiments. In enterprise settings, that matters a lot. When leadership asks what worked, the answer should not be a collection of conflicting reports. It should be one view of decision quality and customer outcome. That is the bridge from campaign thinking to operating model thinking. Once you cross it, AI stops being a side project and becomes part of how the business runs. If you want the short version, here it is. Do not chase generic AI demos. Build one governed decision flow that improves one important customer moment, then expand it with discipline. That means clear rules, usable data, cross-channel consistency, and a rollout plan that respects how your markets actually work. In Asia, that is how you move from talk to traction. The companies that win will not be the ones with the loudest AI story. They will be the ones with the clearest decision logic and the strongest operating rhythm. If this perspective was useful, subscribe for more practical founder-level breakdowns. And comment workflow if you want the solution reference. I'll keep it grounded, specific, and usable because that is what busy teams need. Thank you and see you in next video.